What? I did totally better than that. That's a like B plus minimum. I can't. I'm gonna go back and look at the beginning of chapter 7, or sorry, the second level of chapter 7. I might have accidentally killed like one enemy that didn't need to be killed there, but otherwise, I think I did pretty darn good, and just tanked through a lot of stuff that otherwise, you know.
And it's this mysterious Zoda who I didn't know who he was when I played StarTropics 2. Which StarTropics 2, just as a fun fact, I remember getting stuck in StarTropics 2 even earlier than StarTropics 1. I think I got stuck in chapter 2. So.
Whoa. Really, chapter 2? Oh, because you probably didn't know about the cipher on the wall, right? You got to that maze portion.
I think so. That sounds kind of familiar.
StarTropics 2 is so weird. Like, it was originally in production. You can see it like in like earlier versions of Nintendo Power, like way earlier than 1994, in like lists of games that were being produced. But yeah, it just kept getting pushed back and pushed back and pushed back until eventually it's not like StarTropics 2 is actually the subtitle, and Zoda's Revenge is like considered the main title, because they figured that 4 years later nobody would even remember what StarTropics was. It's really sad, actually. Like, I don't know why that had to happen, but it probably has something to do with the fact that StarTropics was never released in Japan, so like it wasn't a very high priority title.
That's a fair point. Was it actually developed by Nintendo of America, or do you know who developed it within Nintendo?
Yeah, it was Nintendo of Japan actually developing a game for North America. Don't ask why. Don't ask why.
Wow. Okay.
But it's still a pretty darn awesome game. So.
Another learn something new every day. Is this one of Miyamoto's ideas, or do you know who was the main director of StarTropics? I actually don't know this.
I believe it's Genyo Takeda.
Okay.
Same as Punch-Out.
I see. Okay, so that's why people got their hopes up when there was a new Punch-Out, and it was like, oh man, maybe there'll be a new StarTropics.
Yep, new Pilot Wings and all that.
Or, you know, no, Pilot Wings. I was trying to think. Smash Brothers. Now you have Little Mac in Smash Brothers.
Oh, I have to kill everything.
But no
I am not used to this.
Yeah, get killing. Ice.
All right, so I mean, I can take as many hits as I want now, which is actually really, it doesn't feel right.
This game goes with the top-down perspective the entire time, then all of a sudden it kind of looks like a side scroll, and you just jumped into that hole.
Yep, you said you wanted me to go to every room and kill everything, so here we are.
Well, I suppose this isn't a death hole. That's something. This game conditions you about traps, so you're very, very leery about traps. So, and then all of a sudden you get here, and this one's not a trap.
No, it blew my mind as a kid. I found it by accident, of course. Being a dork and accidentally jumping into the hole, and I was like, oh, wait, okay, that wasn't such a bad idea. So here's another thing. I went into so you go into this room, you pick up this one bottle, which if you go to the start menu, it actually counts. Actually, it shows at the bottom too. It actually counts as 3, which is kind of cool. Do they come back? So it must have been just a glitch. Maybe something wasn't making a proper connection, because the same time I was playing it, and then the boss came back after going into that side room. When I came back into this room, all of the enemies also came back. So
enemies always come back to life. Are you sure you weren't playing the copy of the game that had the piracy check on and spawned more enemies?
I don't think StarTropics did that, but
that is actually probably one of my favorite like anti-copyright protections that a game did. And the game I'm referencing, in case you're not aware, is Earthbound, which is a game, while I haven't played, I just love the amount of effort they actually put into the anti-piracy. Like, what happens if you're playing a pirated copy of the game? More enemies spawn and various things just don't exactly work right, but like the game is still completely playable. So until the game completely screws you over at the very end. It's really spooky when it does too. I want you to look it up. I'm not going to spoil it if you don't know.
My favorite thing about Earthbound, well, one of my favorite like kind of weirder things about it, is if you beat the game and then you kind of like you get to the part where you're just exploring the overworld, and then you go to the museum and you don't defeat the enemies in the coffins, and you can just crash the game by getting game over.
Yeah, that is a thing. Oh man. But yeah, I suppose Earthbound. There's another Nintendo series that has regretfully disappeared.
Well, it had a third game, and I mean that was kind of intended to be the conclusion at least. I mean, StarTropics 2, they pretty much wrap up everything, I guess, just because at that point they realized they probably weren't going to make any more. I mean, it's not wrapped up that well, but whatever. Alright, here we go. So I have to kill everything, which I guess includes all these guys coming down here. So I can't proceed until there's absolutely nothing on screen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, all spiders must die. At this point, I suppose you're supposed to be questioning, like, I have to kill everything and I'm just a murderous machine, and what exactly do I live for? And this is just all grindy and stuff. And if I recall correctly, this is the final boss, right?
This is the final boss of the game. I mean, obviously the boss. Whoa, okay. Fortunately, I mean, I guess we still could. Yeah, this is actually a very simple boss. You just go onto these tiles here, and just as the Zoda chases you, you jump to the next tile. And then, yeah. As a kid, I never really understood the strategy, so I would kind of jump around and do a whole bunch of silly things, but because as long as you jump before he jumps on you, he can't accidentally like run into you and insta-kill you or something like that, which is kind of nice.
And does he just stay on these tiles, or like if you're on the open ground, did he try to chase you on the open ground?
Yeah, and he can jump like really far forward, so you could like be a few steps back and you can just insta-kill you, but since he can only jump from one tile to another at a time, it's pretty simple. I mean, you can just wait for him to come into your line of sight too. Jumping into his line of sight is pretty much a guaranteed hit because he'll shoot at you, but if you just wait for him, just give him a couple hits and then run back. But I have to kill this guy.
Okay. But yeah, I suppose, yeah, in the constrained environment, there you go. The constrained environment where you have to, jump from block to block, well, intuitively it seems like it would be way more dangerous. Practically, it's actually way more safer.
Exactly. And there you go.
Welcome to the arena. There you go. I hope you liked StarTropics, I guess, Game Show Edition, as now you're using all your potions.
That was pretty cool. I actually really liked that. I liked that you challenged me to do silly things that I wouldn't have done otherwise. Like, going through Chapter 7, killing the minimal number of enemies, I'm actually surprised how well that went. And I am so happy. Like, Chapter 8 with one hand wasn't going to happen. It just wasn't going to happen.
I think a couple of chapters one hand wasn't going to happen, so I guess it worked out for your best that we did Chapter 2 one-handed so you could just get a feel for it.
Well, thank you again, Miles Luigi.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Uh-oh. I think Miles Luigi is dead. Destroying the spaceship also destroyed. Miles Luigi's internet was actually being provided by Zoda's spaceship, so by destroying the spaceship, it destroyed the satellite dishes, which were then directing internet service to Miles Luigi's house. So we're gonna see if we can maybe fix up the spaceship a bit, and we'll conclude the game. So stay tuned.
You are now at Chapter 8.
We fixed the service enough for Miles Luigi to come back, but the spaceship will still explode. But yeah, one thing I actually noticed because I went to the screen is that is one of the highest scores I have ever gotten in the StarTropics. One of my other highest I have in memory is like 90,000, 2,270. So I'm sorry, yeah, 90,270. So like, because you made me not kill anything in Chapter 7, that's why that's so high. That's awesome.
Hooray for score run! There you go.
Oh man. One thing I've never really paid too much attention to in StarTropics is score. It's more fun to destroy everything than it is to not, but it's so weird that they made it like that. But again, as we discussed, maybe it was like a programming error. Who knows? But just like that, we're done the game. Now we only have lots of talking to go through.
Okay. So it was very happy to see you play through StarTropics again, because, get to enjoy the game, with you, and I enjoyed challenging you throughout the run as a result, so
thank you very much. I'm so happy to have you along. I mean, this you being here really shows kind of the evolution that has taken place, because I started my YouTube channel, and one of the things that it obviously started with was my Let's Play of StarTropics. I mean, were it not for YouTube, we wouldn't be talking right now. So it's kind of a big thing. And I mean, even though there is Super Mario Omega, had I not, again, as I mentioned in the previous part, built up that confidence with speaking that I gained through YouTube, I have no idea if I ever would have taken you up on your offer to join you in a part of Omega. And then, obviously, without that, we never would have become very, very, very good friends, which I'm so happy happened. So, again, thank you so much.
Hooray for that happening. So,
yay!
I guess if you've watched this far, look forward to the fact that both of us here, don't have plans to go away. We're busy people. Life happens. But we enjoy it enough, and we look forward to getting you guys new content. So.
I really hope that everyone enjoyed this.
So yeah, it was nice to see StarTropics again, but we do still need to see StarTropics 2.
Oh no, I've actually never played StarTropics 2 on my channel, because I've always had the kind of debate. Do I do a random game of the day of it, but then if I do that, then it'd be weird if I did a Let's Play of it later. But then I've been kind of debating doing a Let's Play of it, but then because of that I haven't done, so because of that there's been no StarTropics 2 on my channel at all. I do not know StarTropics 2 nearly as well. I mean, as I know StarTropics 1, I still know like where all the secrets are, but StarTropics 1 is always a game that's been much more dear to me, and I've beat it way more times than StarTropics 2. I actually did not know about the existence of StarTropics 2 until I got my first computer, in 2003. And then I found the Sea Island forum. I think we've talked about that before. And then, because I Google searched StarTropics one day, and then that was when I found, StarTropics actually had a sequel. I had no idea. And then the search began to going to all the stores which sold used video games to try and find it, which I eventually did. And then I stayed up all night playing it. And
there you go. And it was a good night.
It was a very good night.
And then StarTropics 2 is weird because Mike gets psychic powers.
Yeah, he gets psychic powers, and he can walk diagonally, and he is not confined to, like, a grid. But he still can't swim. Nope. Psychic powers, but he can't swim.
And that's kind of a bad thing, because you still go through lots of levels with water.
Although spikes become a big issue in that game, too.
Even when you're not on a tropical island anymore, like, water's still an issue.
I definitely really like the tropical and then space theme of the first game. It just flows so well, and the story is so coherent. The second game was really just, oh hey, you're flying through time and space again to another completely unrelated time period. Hooray! But, I mean, it just didn't have the same feeling of adventure that the first game had. I'll always really love this game. It's just fantastic. And that's the end!
The end. 5 years of YouTube, or maybe more for me.
But we're not actually quite done. We have the slideshow. Well, first we have the credits, and then the slideshow of everything that happened. See, look, it's all the, yeah.
Okay.
I was right.
There you go. I'm glad you knew, because actually I just totally forgot it.
I better know. I should know who
You
made
should
one of my
know.
all-time favorite games.
Yeah, because I think as a child and maybe even teenager, except maybe Miyamoto's name, you tend not to really notice the people who make games. You're just concentrating more on the game.
Oh yeah.
And I think it's more so over you maturing and learning, say, a little bit more about how games are made and whatnot, that you actually start gaining appreciation for not just the directors but everyone else who's worked on a game. So.
Well, I mean, think about how many NES games don't even have credits. Like.
Oh yeah. Or even back in the before then, the Atari days, where Atari just was like, we wholly own this game all together, and you can't even get any accreditation for it. And that's what led to some of those old Atari games having, secret codes or things you could do to find the, author's initials in them. So, and that's really fascinating stuff to me.
For sure. Back then, it would just be like two guys in the basement made the game. That sold it.
Yes. So.
There's something really satisfying about beating a game like StarTropics or Mega Man 2, and then the credit sequence lasting like less than 30 seconds. It's like, see, it doesn't take a billion people and $1 billion to make a really good game.
Yep. So
Oh.
So yeah, here's to some more years on YouTube. Watching Nintendo mess up. Hopefully they do good stuff too, but regretfully they have a very not so great track record in the last 5 years.
Yeah, we barely talked about the Switch at all during this Let's Play.
Oh yeah, that's true. So
I guess I'll have to get ready to re-buy StarTropics on the Switch since I wasn't able to transfer it from my Wii to my Wii U. So there's no hope of being able to transfer it from the Wii U to the Switch, that's for sure.
Time to play through StarTropics again on the Switch. You're gonna play it on the go.
Oh my gosh. That was actually, like, yeah.
Was StarTropics ever on the 3DS eShop?
I don't think it's on the 3DS yet, no.
Okay.
It could, actually, it might be. I haven't, I don't know. That's actually really...
I'm gonna check right now, because if it is, I think I know what you're gonna do next.
Well, I filled up all the files on this cartridge, one of my, 10 StarTropics cartridges. So I guess I'll have to replay it on other consoles.
Alright, well, I searched for it, and it appears as if StarTropics is only on the Wii U eShop.
Yeah, okay,
so.
that's what I thought. You scared me for a second there.
So, but yeah, watch Nintendo Switch comes out, and then all of your favorite games for the Virtual Console get re-released, and there might be some really weird way to transfer your games from like your Wii U to the Switch, but like you have to repurchase them to like say use the Switch tablet or something like that. It's a very Nintendo thing to do something like that.
But see, that's what they need to get out of. They need to get out of those habits. Like, the
I
Switch is
agree.
not going to save them from what's kind of been happening. I mean, they were in first with the Wii, although ever since, obviously, they've been being beaten out by PS4 and Xbox One. And I don't
And
think that
PC
the Switch
Gaming
is going to
Master
change
Race.
that.
And PC Gaming Master Race.
Of course. Of course.
All right, but anyway, that was a fun run. So,
yeah,
to a bright
thank you.
future.
To the bright future, to an awesome 2017. Let's all have the best year ever. So with that said, thank you everybody for watching. Thank you so much, Miles Luigi, for joining me.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much, Nintendo, for making a fantastic game. And yeah, hope to see you next time for something different. So thanks, and see you later.